This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com. What's up, world? This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com. Giving you a full Raw recap. This is a Raw after WrestleMania, still in Dallas, Texas. April 4th, 2016. JBL, Michael Cole, Byron Saxon are your commentators. Of course, they're going to start off with a montage of all the WrestleMania action from last night. Then Vince McMahon comes out and, gloats about having full control of the WWE now. And, of course, the crowd was booing him. And he says that, it got to him a little bit seeing Shane get up to the top of the cage and jumping down, because it's like, wow, my son is willing to put his health on the line just to get control of Raw. He's just willing to do anything. And it made me kind of, it got to me a little bit. So as he was saying that, Shane McMahon comes out and the crowd explodes, of course. Shane McMahon says that, since he's the only man in the family, crowd, ooh, he insults his dad. He said, I wanted to look at you face to face and shake your hand. You won. And then he said, the second thing I want to do, I want to just thank all of the crowd and yada, yada, yada. They're yelling, you still got it, things of that nature, giving them encouragement. Shane said bye, and he's walking off. Vince McMahon, like, you're not going to one-up me. You're not going to show me up on my show. What I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you to run Raw for a little bit. So Shane looking, the crowd goes crazy. So he has control of Raw for the night. First match, you got a titles match. For the tag team titles, you got the New Day, represented by Big E and Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods with a very mini trombone, versus the League of Nations. They're represented by King Barrett and Sheamus this time. And, of course, it recapped all of the WrestleMania antics where the New Day actually lost because of King Barrett interfering in the match. And then them talking noise, which made, saying that no three men can beat him, which made Shawn Michaels, Cactus Jack, and Stone Cold come out, and they beat them up. And then, them making them dance, Shawn Michaels with his version of twerking, and, Cactus Jack dancing, then Stone Cold dancing, and delivering the stunner to Xavier Woods. Well, Xavier Woods say that he deserved it for messing with Stone Cold. And, it was a good back and forth action when it started. Big E got in the ring, and it just was beautiful once he got in the ring. And then he sets up King Barrett for one of the tag team finishers. Boom. New Day retains the title. And, they get that pin victory. Match was a 3 out of 5. It was a good match. It wasn't a great match, but it was a good match. Sheamus gets on the mic and say, they should be dominating the WWE, but you can only be as good as your weakest link. So they jump King Barrett and kicks him out the group. And surprisingly, the lights go out, and we're here. Crowd goes crazy. The Wyatt family comes, and they beat up the League of Nations. You just got rid of the fourth guy that could have maybe got your advantage. Nope. Hey, Wyatt family whooped them boys. I've been reading that, Barrett didn't sign a contract extension, so I guess he's out. I mean, it is what it is. So, of course, they show more scenes from WrestleMania 32, and then Vince McMahon is interviewed about letting Shane have control of Raw tonight, and he's like, why are you leaving? He said, I don't want to be here because I know it's going to be a disaster. This Raw is going to go crashing. But I'm going to let him. He essentially said he's giving Shane enough rope to hang himself so he can know that he can't run Raw. So he leaves. They flash back. Summer Rae is in the ring, and she's saying that she can't believe that Sasha Banks got her first WrestleMania moment and blew it. So, of course, Sasha Banks come out, and you have your second match. You got Summer Rae versus Sasha Banks. And Summer Rae actually had the early advantage. Then Sasha Banks just whooped the girl. And it was a quick match. If it was a longer match, hey, you saw what happened for WrestleMania. Arguably, the women's match was the best match of the night, arguably. I like the ladder match, then the women's match. But a lot of people say they took the show. They definitely did have a great match yesterday. So, but this was a short match. So Sasha Banks got a quick victory over Summer Rae, put her in the bank statement. So the match was a 2 out of 5. Just your average match. Then they did the the WrestleMania all of the news footage at WrestleMania, breaking the attendance record, and all of the different media outlets that showed it. And then they cut back to the ring. You got your third match. You got Tyler Breeze coming to the ring, and then some unfamiliar music to those that don't watch NXT comes on. It's Apollo Crews. And I have to give this match a 3 out of 5. It was a good match. It had the potential to be a great match. Apollo Crews versus Neville. But Apollo Crews and Tyler Breeze, of course, fought in NXT. This guy showed off agility, speed, power, strength. I mean, it was just a great showing for Apollo Crews. So if he did a spinning power bomb on Tyler Breeze, and that was a wrap. He got the pin victory. So like I said, that was a 3 out of 5. Then they showed the Today Show interview where the champions, Roman Reigns and Charlotte, they were getting interviewed on the Today Show, obviously today. Roman Reigns come to the ring, and my goodness, they booed that boy almost every second. He said, look, I'm not a bad guy. He said, I'm not even a good guy. I'm the guy. A lot of boos. They can't stand Roman Reigns. You have a guy holding a sign behind him saying, look, don't cut our sound. We paid to do this. Because yesterday, you heard the cheers when he won the championship. But if you read anybody that was actually at WrestleMania, any of the things, they said no, they booed. They wanted Triple H to win that match. They booed heavily. So, he pretty much did an open challenge, saying, hey, whoever wants a piece of this title, hey, come out and get it. Y2J, Chris Jericho comes out and say, look, man, you ain't that good. So, you can't compare to me. So what I want you to do is put me in the front of the line for that belt. I want the opportunity. AJ Styles, he come out, crowd go crazy. Kevin Owens come out, crowd go nuts. Because a lot of people want Kevin Owens. I like Kevin Owens. I want him to shoot up. Sami Zayn music come out, and crowd cheer for him a little bit. If you looked at my WrestleMania video, y'all know I think Sami Zayn's pretty vanilla. He haven't showed me anything yet. I did like him against Nakamura, though. I did like the match he did with Nakamura, but he was doing the strong style. He actually showed some strength, some character, But Sami Zayn came out, and that was pretty much that. That's set. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens immediately started attacking each other. AJ Styles and Chris Jericho attacks each other. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens take care of each other outside the ring. They both knocked out. Chris Jericho throws AJ Styles out the ring. Roman Reigns spears him, walks out the ring. Then they have a recap of Vince McMahon giving control of Raw to Shane McMahon for the night. And then you have more WrestleMania moments shown. Then you have Shane McMahon telling Roman Reigns that tonight they're going to have a fatal four-way to determine who's the #1 contender for his belt. Roman Reigns like, cool. Got your fourth match. You got Baron Corbin, the winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal from last night, WrestleMania. NXT star Baron Corbin. He goes against Dolph Ziggler. Of course, they go with the WrestleMania recap to show you how he won the Royal Rumble and things of that nature. He said, look, you don't have to know me. You ain't even got to like me. Just know that I'm about to destroy anybody that get in my pathway. That's my twist on what he said. Dolph Ziggler actually put a lot of energy into it. Corbin, I'm still on the fence with him. He didn't have too much to really give Dolph Ziggler. He didn't really work off of Dolph Ziggler that well. They fought until they both fall out the ring, and they got a double count out. And Corbin pretty much took control of the end of the match. The match was already over, and he pretty much slammed Dolph Ziggler on the outside of the ring on the mat out there, and left him land. So that match was about a 2 out of 5. Like I said, Corbin didn't really give off the energy. He didn't give that feedback that Dolph Ziggler gave. Dolph Ziggler had a strong performance. Your fifth match. Well, no. They did a street fight recap between Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose and showed everything that happened in that match. Then you went to your fifth match, which was Zack Ryder versus The Miz for the Intercontinental title. Because, as you know, they did the ladder match recap from WrestleMania. And, The Miz was actually, he had the belt in his hand and he's smiling and gloating instead of getting the belt down. And Zack Ryder pushed him off and took the belt. So of course they allowed the Miz to actually have his a match with him because of that. Um, Crowd, as soon as Dolph Ziggler came out, I mean Zack Ryder came out, crowd broke into, you deserve it, woo woo woo. They did that chant for a long time. A lot of people wanted Zack Ryder to rise up. I'm one of them. I like him. I like his hustle on the internet to actually get a job with the WWE. Like anybody that's willing to give their all, even if they don't have, they give their all to what they want. Zack Ryder grabbed the mic and showed the picture of him holding Razor Ramon's title when he was a little bitty kid, his Intercontinental title. And then he showed the picture of Razor Ramon holding Zack Ryder's Intercontinental Championship last night. Crowd liked it, thanked his dad, and Miz interrupted. It was like, look, I ain't here to hear all that. He's like, look, just give me my title match. They fought. It was a good match. It was a good match that turned great, or almost good that turned really, really good. I don't want to say it's a great match, but it was a good match. Back and forth action. Miz got in Zack Ryder's dad's face and was talking noise to him. Zack Ryder's dad pushed him down. Boom. And Zack Ryder got on the Miz and whatnot. Some blind woman comes to Miz's dad and all in his face and smacks him in the face. Zack Ryder like, what's going on? He has his arms up like, what's going on? And the Miz sneaks up behind him, skull-crushing finale. The Miz won the Intercontinental Championship. It's the Miz's wife that smacked Zack Ryder's dad. She comes in the ring and celebrates with him. And that was pretty cool. So, let's see. Kevin Owens, he's interviewed about, his the match that he's going. He's like, look, I was already in an unfair match yesterday when I had to face 6 other people for my title. And, like Sami Zayn won't just leave me alone, but don't worry about it. I'm going to win tonight. I'm about to get this #1 contender. It's time for me I'm going to win, and I'm going to, pretty much destroy the Roman Empire. Crowd goes nuts. They do another WrestleMania montage and showing highlights from last night. And then they did a formal presentation of the Women's Championship title by Lita to Charlotte. No more this diva scrap. It's actually women's wrestling. Then they did a recap of the triple threat match between the women's champion Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch. And she's thanking Charlotte's thanking everybody for supporting wrestling and women's wrestling. And they got the crowd into pretty much saying women's wrestling. They actually did appreciate not having all of this eye candy stuff and no skill. They would actually want to see women wrestle. So she keep bragging about how she the reason that the division's all good. She's the last diva champion, the first women's champion, stuff like that, to the point where she made all of the women upset. They leave the ring. Natalya grabs a mic and say, look, you need some humility. She gets in the ring and says, look, let's have a match. You keep talking about your genetics superior, but you have to remember, I'm a heart. I have heart. He's like, let's go ahead and have a Flair versus Hart match. Crowd, of course, like that idea. Charlotte was like, no, Flair's going to always be better than Hart. So, of course, Natalya attacks Charlotte and put her in the sharpshooter. And Ric Flair grabbed Charlotte and was able to get her out. AJ Styles gets interviewed and say he came to the WWE to be the champ. Losing at WrestleMania, he's not about to fade into oblivion. Hey, he came to be the champ. He's going to be the champ. And he's going to start the end of the phenomenal era. He's going to start the phenomenal era. So you have your 6th match. That's the Usos versus the Dudley Boys, which is a tables match. And the Dudley Boys actually started off on fire in this match, actually. And they got an early advantage. And they really just beat up on the Usos for the most part this whole match. That's why I can't really give it a 3, even though it's a very strong 2. It's above average match, but not good enough to really be a 3 on my ranking. So they put both of the Usos through the table and yelling at the the bell, the bell guy and all that type of stuff. You can hear it all the way when they're interviewing Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn pretty much said, "Hey, I need this win, this number one contenders uh, win, to pretty much validate my whole career, my reason for making it to the WWE. Before he even really got a chance to finish, boom, attacked by Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens ended up powerbombing him through a table. So he out there, he's real roughed up. So they have a recap of Kevin Owens attacking Sami Zayn, and they go back to the ring, and the Dudley Boys are still talking noise out there, taunting the crowd, all that type of stuff. And Enzo and Cass music from NXT, their music hits. If you remember, if you watched the pay-per-view Roadblock, they were actually one of the tag team that was featured in Roadblock. And they grabbed the mic and did that whole "you can't teach that" routine and all that type of stuff. Lady wasn't with them; it was just Enzo and Cass, and they insulted the Dudley Boys and challenged them to a match. Dudley Boys go to the ring, and then it was like, nah, and get out of the ring. So of course it said that they're soft, spelled it out SAWFT. Said they were soft, crowd loved it, all that type of stuff. They did WrestleMania. They did the WrestleMania moment where The Rock actually ended up having to deal with the Wyatt family, and then John Cena coming out to help The Rock to fight the Wyatt family. Cena still got booed all through WrestleMania. Cena and Roman Reigns just aren't accepted very well. Then they did another WrestleMania, just montage all of the moments that happened, and then they announced that they're going to have an Intercontinental title rematch on SmackDown, and then Dr. Phil is going to be on Monday Night Raw. And you had your seventh match. This is going to be your final match. It's the Fatal 4-Way number one contenders match. AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho. They announced that Sami Zayn has not been cleared by the medical staff to actually wrestle. So Kevin Owens took a bow for what he did. And then they announced that Shane McMahon said it's still going to be a Fatal 4-Way match. And they said the fourth competitor is going to be Cesaro. Crowd goes crazy. Haven't seen Cesaro in much since he injured himself. Goes in. It was back and forth. I mean, with a Fatal 4-Way match, you have, 3 chances that actually have really cool, 4 chances that have really cool, maneuvers happen. So it was good back and forth action. This is a very strong 3 match. They just needed a little bit more to push it to like a 4 type match, a great match. But it was a really, really good match. And surprisingly, out of all of everybody do they finishing moves because the match is about to end. Surprisingly, AJ Styles was able to get the style clash on Chris Jericho, who beat him in WrestleMania, obviously. And AJ Styles won that match. He got the pin victory. So now AJ Styles is the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship of WrestleMania. Of the WWE. The dude came in, what was that, Royal Rumble? He only been in WWE for a short time, so I know that's going to eat away at Chris Jericho. Can't wait to see how his angle is going to go. So, hey, that's your Raw recap. Thanks for listening. Subscribe. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I love it all. Tell me what you think of it in the comments. Follow me, Playtime Cares, on everything. I follow back. Peace.